Right, so we've done some balancing. We started to wake everything up. And there's loads of cool things you can do. You know, you'll see me on wobble boards and bounce boards and stuff. There's all that fun shit you can have a go at as well. I strongly encourage you to do so. But what we're going to do, that's our foundation, right? Now we're going to start to string that together. We're going to start to take that balance and we're going to start to develop it. We're going to start to develop our capacity to move. I'm just going to show you and then we'll dive into it, right? So all we're going to do is we're going to start just standing straight and we take a step forward and a step back, and a step forward and a step back. Yeah, and I know that seems like a little. So you, again, maybe you just had a knee operation. Maybe you got a really sore knee, you got patella tendonitis going on. Maybe your meniscus is wrecked. Who knows, right? But maybe you got something going on there. Maybe it's in your hip. So maybe you're just going to do that. Yeah? So this leg's moving, but this one stabilises as well, innit? So as I do that, okay, some movement in this leg too. I'm starting to get a bit of knee over toe going. So it can just be here. That's all it is, that's all it is. But what we want to build that to, so I'm just giving myself a little bit of space here. So what we're going to build that to is, so we're going to start off nice and small, yeah? But then I want to make that into big lunges, yeah? So we want to be really pushing the range on it. So we want to be going nice and deep, but I ain't got room here to go back. But you get the picture, yeah? So I'm going to be going like forward and then driving back and then forward. I'm going to have to step back, so forward and then driving nice and deep back and then powering through. And you'll find it's quite difficult. So I've tested this on quite a few people from various backgrounds, from fighting to lifting to CrossFit. And it's surprising how difficult trail runners, and it's surprising how difficult they find that. It's surprising, you know, when you take like a trail runner and they struggle to do that, and you're thinking, well, when you're running, you're doing that quite a bit, aren't you? Well, a lot of people's gaits get narrow and stuff. But what I found is, since I've started incorporating these, I'm walking well faster and I'm running better too. Dead interesting. But like, I'm going to keep coming back to this, and I'm sorry if you get fed up with me hearing me say it. It's all about developing this, the connection between this and this, your map, yeah, your ability to control your body. And a lot of time we might do movements like this in the gym and we load them and we build strength there. What about everything in between? Because, you know, we'll get into this when we get into shoulders, but the shoulder's like the most mobile joint in the body. This is second, and most people literally train like that, maybe like that, maybe like that. There's a lot of stuff going on in between. Now, if I build a load of strength just here, which I did, and I build maybe a load of strength just here, but I don't think about the stuff in between, I've got massive gaps in my neurology, right? I've got massive glaring weaknesses, and the body's going to go, look, bitch, you have no control over that strength, you have no control over that muscle and that power in those ranges, in those movements. So we're closing them off, and that's where your hips are going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. Your abductors are going to lock off, your adductors are going to pull everything in, you know, common things, because you haven't got any control over it. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach the body it's safe to start opening up that tissue. It's why your hips are always tight, yeah? And if because your legs aren't moving properly, your hips aren't moving properly, that's causing a build-up of fluid in your back, and that's why your back's always stiff. You know, these glutes, maybe they're really good at going forward and back. Maybe you run, you maybe do some sprinting, maybe you've got decent glutes, but everyone tells you, oh, build your glutes, it'll help you back. But maybe you can't move them that way, you know? Maybe you can't move them that way, and I'm going to show you some stuff for that too in a second. But maybe they're only good up and down. And then someone tells you, do some glute bridges, but again, it's just more of this. Kettlebell swings, just more of this, you know, humping the air or whatever. And you're just building this booty. Like, I always had a decent bum, but it stopped me getting back issues because eventually I had this bum that was kind of locked in this position. My quads were all tight here, my hammies were all locked in position, and my back was burning the brunt of it. And I had no capacity to kind of move side to side or twist or rotate. Everything was just locked off because all my strength was like here. And while it's useful for, you know, doing some powerlifting, doing some strong, whatever, it's not useful for actual movements in life. And I was actually, you know, getting slower and hurting myself more and more and more despite having all this power that I just couldn't utilise anymore. So that's what this is. We're starting to develop that glute. Sorry, my battery's going low. I'll pop it on charge in a minute. We're going to develop a 3D glute. We're going to develop a glute that bloody moves and is able to stabilise through range. And when we do that, that is going to take pressure off the back. And like I said before, it's going to activate this lymphatic drainage as well. There's a reason when someone comes to me with a bad back, I treat the legs, and they go, oh my God, I feel so much better already. It's because I've just drained the shit out of here. Because you've got to build up of fluid. You know, yes, maybe the back's overworking as well, and that's causing some inflammation too. But that inflammation, that pressure, that fluid, that's causing pain, it's causing tightness. And because you're feeling it all the time, that starts to affect how you move, how you load it. And it's just this horrible negative feedback loop. The body's supposed to move all of it, you know? Each step I take is nourishing me or it's hurting me. And I want your steps to start nourishing you. So let's take it back to the movement now. So, I'm here, and like I said, maybe I have got a back issue, maybe I've got a hip issue, maybe my knee's a bit dodgy, right? So all I want you to do is I just want boom, boom, boom. If you have to hold something to support you, that's fine too, yeah? But that's the idea, that kind of motion. If it's just this, I really don't care. If that's where you're at, that's fine. But you're going to gradually, and I'll have to get that space again, start to build that motion, yeah? Now, to make it more advanced, so as you see, I'm getting a nice deep one there, and a nice deep one there. I want to make it more advanced. Let's say I go backwards, I'm going to come up, you see I hold for a second, and then down, and then boom, back, boom, back, boom, back. And that's how we make it more advanced. That's how we start to add a bit of a balance element to it, a little bit of power, because when I'm coming up, I'm driving, and then down, and then driving, and then back. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah? That's how we make it more advanced. But again, we start here. If that's where you start, that's fine. But you can see where it's going. So as I mentioned before, let's say you are in a bad way, you are pretty banged up, you feel tight and horrible all the time. Then you start here, you do a lot of it. Maybe you do it a couple of times a day. It won't take long, but maybe your back's tight all the time. I guarantee you start doing them, it's going to start to loosen up. You're going to start to feel better. And once you start incorporating these moves into your warm-ups, you're really going to start to feel the benefits. On to the next one. I'll have a minute and a brew away.